Professor Abhijit Banerjee, you've explained over the last 20 minutes your objections to the farm laws. Dr. Arvind Panagariya has been listening to what you're saying. He will now respond to each of the points that you've made, and I will come back to you for a final counter. I want to go across to Dr. Panagariya on the first point that Abhijeet Banerjee makes, that the timing is not right. The Indian economy in the first quarter of this fiscal collapsed and contracted by 24%. This is not the time when, for the largest occupation in our country, you change the way they function. People are fearful, they have anxieties. Reforms are a good idea, Arvind Panagariya. Abhijeet Banerjee argues that the government got its timing wrong. Dr. Panagariya.
The timing of anything can be questioned, Rahul. Abhijeet didn't mention labor law reforms, which were also done in fact, the same parliamentary session as the farm bills were brought in. Because there was no agitation on labor laws, we didn't hear him object to those reforms. But if you look at it, actually, labor law reforms were as big or bigger than the farm reforms. So that's one point. The second is that, look, this is a reform which has been underway at least since 2003. And the discussion started 2 or 3 years prior to that. Many of the states have been doing this. Most importantly, what are you doing here? You are not changing the status quo in any substantive way. APMC markets are there. They will remain there. And in fact, the central government cannot even remove the APMCs. This is done under the state laws. And so therefore, it is up to the state. So Punjab government can step in and assure, and certainly Punjab farmers or Haryana farmers do not think that their state governments are about to dismantle APMCs. So I just don't see that option that the farmer currently has still exists. It is additional options that is being introduced to the farmer.
So, but let's build further on the point that Dr. Banerjee made about the manner in which the reforms were brought. The lack of public consultation, the lack of announcement brought through a reform, inadequate parliamentary proceedings, not being sent to a standing committee, that is being questioned, not just by Professor Banerjee, but by many who are apprehensive.
Yeah, I think this also is, a lot of this is after the fact, because there is a movement, we are questioning these things. Reforms, in fact, were brought in June through the ordinance. And what the bills have done is to convert the ordinance into laws. I don't think even Professor Banerjee at the time really spoke against these bills, said that timing is wrong, timing is bad. I doubt that there was that much of a discussion. But after the fact that there has been a movement that the farmers are agitating now very aggressively, this is a bit of an afterthought on it. But also, in terms of discussion, look back at the report number 62 of the Parliamentary Standing Committee on Agriculture. This whole report is about agricultural marketing, APMC reforms, and in fact goes at length saying that, look, the monopoly of the commission agents in these markets is very problematic. There's huge amount of corruption and so forth. So parliamentary committee, the standing committee itself, which has 31 members from all parties, itself has made this recommendation, and this is like we are talking about 2019 December. So it's not as though discussions were not happening, and as we all know, these reforms had been underway through the state instrumentality for quite a long time.
But sir, so, even in a country like China, which is authoritarian in its political system, when price controls were being done away